Maya Chen's eyes snapped open in the darkness of her small apartment. The same dream had haunted her for weeks now. Flashes of towering buildings, flying cars, and people living in a world that seemed impossible. A world that everyone said never existed. She sat up in bed, her heart pounding. The digital clock on her nightstand read 3:47 a.m. outside her window. The grey concrete buildings of Sector stretched endlessly under the artificial glow of the city's perpetual twilight. This was the world she knew. The world that had always been, according to the history archives. Maya quietly slipped out of bed and padded to her desk. Hidden beneath a loose floorboard was her most precious possession. A leather journal filled with drawings and notes about her dreams. She opened it to a fresh page and began sketching what she had seen tonight. A woman with kind eyes and greying hair, wearing a white coat. The woman kept saying a name. Elena, and she kept reaching for Maya, as if trying to pull her towards something. Maya. A voice called softly from the kitchen. Are you awake? Maya quickly hid the journal and walked to the kitchen where Dr. Elena Rodriguez was preparing tea. Elena had been Maya's guardian for as long as she could remember, though Maya often wondered about the sadness that seemed to live permanently in Elena's eyes. Another nightmare? Elena asked, handing Maya a steaming cup. They're not nightmares, Maya said, sitting across from her guardian. They feel too real, too specific, like memories. Elena's hand trembled slightly as she set down her cup. Maya, that's impossible. The global reset happened 17 years ago. There are no memories from before. The virus that swept through the world's population damaged every ability to form long-term memories of the past. That's why we have the archives, to tell us about our history. But what if the archives are wrong? Maya pressed. What if there's more to our past than what we're told? Elena stood abruptly, turning away from Maya. You should try to get some sleep. You have your assessment tomorrow. Maya watched her guardian's reflection in the kitchen window. Elena's face was a mask of controlled fear. Maya had seen that expression before, whenever she asked too many questions about the past. The next morning, Maya joined the stream of 16-year-olds heading to the assessment center. Every citizen had to undergo regular memory evaluations to ensure they weren't developing any dangerous recollections from before the reset. Maya had always passed these tests easily, but today felt different. The assessment center was a stark white building in the heart of the city. Maya showed her identification card to the guard and was directed to room 17. Inside, she found herself face to face with a woman in a black uniform. The woman's nameplate read, Commander Kane, Maya Chen, Kane said, consulting her tablet. Guardian is Dr. Elena Rodriguez. Sector 7 resident, no previous violations. Kane's ice blue eyes studied Maya carefully. Please place your hand on the scanner. Maya pressed her palm against the cold metal surface. The scanner hummed to life, and she felt a strange tingling sensation travel up her arm. On Kane's screen, Maya could see her own brainwave patterns dancing across the display. Interesting, Kane murmured. Your neural patterns are highly unusual. Tell me, Maya, do you ever experience vivid dreams? Perhaps scenes or people that seem familiar but shouldn't be. Maya's heart raced, but she kept her voice steady. No, Commander, just normal dreams. Kane's eyes narrowed. The scanner indicates otherwise. Your hippocampus shows signs of preserved memory pathways. That should be impossible in someone your age. I don't know what that means, Maya said honestly. It means, Kane said, standing and walking around Maya's chair, that you may be experiencing what we call echo syndrome. Fragments of memories from before the reset, preserved somehow in your neural pathways. It's a dangerous condition, Maya. One that requires immediate treatment. Treatment, Maya asked. Memory reconditioning. A simple procedure that will help align your thoughts with approved historical records. You'll be much happier afterward.
I promise.
Maya felt a chill run down her spine. She had heard whispers about memory reconditioning. People went in with questions and came out as empty shells, perfectly compliant and airily content. I need to think about it, Maya said. I'm afraid that's not an option. Kane pressed a button on her tablet. Agent Stone will escort you to the preparation room. The door opened and a tall man in tactical gear entered. Maya recognized him as one of the Memory Enforcement Division's top agents. She had seen him on the news, always standing silently behind Kane during her public addresses. This way, Miss Chen, Stone said, his voice emotionless. As they walked down a long white corridor, Maya's mind raced. She had to find a way out. At the end of the hall, Stone stopped to unlock a door. In that moment, Maya noticed something. His hand hesitated on the lock, and for just a second, his grey eyes met hers. In them, she saw something she didn't expect: doubt. Agent Stone, she whispered. He looked at her sharply, then glanced around to ensure they were alone. Listen carefully, he said in a low voice. When we enter this room, there will be a window on the far wall. The lock is broken, but don't let them know you know that. Wait for my signal.
Then run.
Why are you helping me? Maya asked. Stone's jaw tightened. Because I'm starting to remember things too. And I don't like what I'm remembering about this place. The preparation room was small and clinical, with a single chair in the center and monitoring equipment along the walls. Stone positioned Maya near the window as instructed. 2 technicians entered and began setting up the reconditioning equipment. Beginning Phase 1 preparation. One of them announced into a headset. Stone moved to the door, then suddenly stumbled, knocking over a cart of medical instruments. The crash echoed through the room, and in the confusion, he caught Maya's eye and nodded toward the window. Maya didn't hesitate. She sprinted across the room and threw herself at the window. The glass shattered as she crashed through, landing hard on the fire escape outside. She could hear shouts and alarms behind her as she scrambled to her feet and began running. The fire escape led to an alley behind the assessment center. Maya dropped to the ground and started running toward the crowded marketplace of Sector 7. She knew she had to get home, had to warn Elena. But as she rounded the corner onto her street, she saw black vehicles surrounding her apartment building. They're already there, she whispered. Maya! A voice called from a doorway. She turned to see a boy about her age with messy auburn hair and green eyes. This way, quickly! Maya hesitated. She had never seen this boy before, but the memory enforcement officers were getting closer. She had no choice but to trust him. The boy led her through a maze of back alleys and maintenance tunnels. Finally, they emerged in what appeared to be an abandoned subway station. The platforms were lit by strings of improvised lights, and Maya could see people moving in the shadows. Welcome to the underground, the boy said. I'm Zane Walker, and you, Maya Chen, are about to learn the truth about your world. A figure emerged from the shadows and Maya gasped. It was Elena, but she looked different. Gone was the carefully controlled expression Maya knew. Instead, Elena's face was filled with determination and something else. Hope. Maya, Elena said, pulling her into a tight embrace. I'm so sorry I couldn't tell you before. It was too dangerous. Tell me what? Maya asked, pulling back to look at her guardian. Elena glanced around at the other people in the station. Maya could see about a dozen individuals of various ages, all watching her with intense curiosity. The truth about the Echo Protocol, Elena said. The truth about what really happened 17 years ago. And the truth about why you're the only person who can remember. Maya sank onto a nearby bench, her mind reeling. I don't understand. 17 years ago, Elena began. The world was very different. Technology was more advanced. People lived longer. And humanity was on the verge of solving problems like climate change and disease. But a group of powerful individuals decided that ordinary people couldn't be trusted with such knowledge and freedom. Commander Kane, Zane added, his voice bitter. She was part of the original council that orchestrated the reset. They didn't use a virus, Elena continued. They used a massive electromagnetic pulse combined with memory suppression drugs in the water supply. The global reset was artificial, designed to create a more manageable society. Maya's head spun. But why don't I remember being suppressed? Elena's eyes filled with tears. Because you're my daughter, Maya. And I designed you to be immune. The words hit Maya like a physical blow. Your daughter. I was the lead scientist on the Echo Protocol project. It was supposed to be a way to preserve human knowledge and memories in case of a global catastrophe. But Kane and her allies weaponized it, used it to erase people's memories instead of preserving them. When I realized what they were planning, Elena continued, I modified the protocol. I created a genetic marker that would make certain individuals immune to the memory suppression. Then I used it on you. Maya stared at her mother, trying to process this revelation. So all those dreams, those visions, are real memories, Elena confirmed. You're experiencing echoes of the world that was. And you're not the only one. There are others, scattered around the world. We call them echoes. That's why Kane wants to recondition you, Zane said. Echoes are the only people who can remember the truth. You're a threat to their entire system. Maya stood up, her legs shaky. What do we do now? Elena placed her hands on Maya's shoulders. We fight back. The underground has been working for years to find other echoes and prepare for this moment. But we need you, Maya. Your memories are stronger than any other echo we've found. You might be the key to reversing the global reset. How? Maya asked. The original Echo Protocol device still exists, Elena explained. It's hidden in the old research facility beneath the city. If we can reach it, we can use it to restore everyone's memories. But it requires someone with your specific genetic markers to operate it. Maya looked around at the faces watching her. These people were risking everything on the hope that she could somehow fix their broken world. What if I can't do it? She asked. Then we keep fighting, said a young girl emerging from the shadows. Maya guessed she was about 14, with short black hair and bright, determined eyes. I'm Luna Nakamura. I've been part of the underground since I was 10. We don't give up. Maya nodded slowly. The weight of responsibility settled on her shoulders, but she also felt something else. Purpose. For the first time in her life, the strange dreams and visions made sense. She wasn't broken or dangerous. She was hope. All right, Maya said. Tell me what we need to do. Elena smiled, and Maya saw pride in her mother's eyes. First, we need to get you to the other safe houses. There are more echoes out there, and we need to find them before Kane does. Then we plan our assault on the facility. It won't be easy, Zane warned. Kane's people are already searching for you. They'll have every street monitored. Let them try, Maya said, surprised by the strength in her own voice. I've been running from the truth my whole life. Now it's time to run toward it. As the underground prepared for the journey ahead, Maya felt the stirring of memories she hadn't accessed yet. Somewhere in her mind were the keys to saving everyone. She just had to find them before Kane found her. The revolution was about to begin. 3 days after Maya's escape, the city had transformed into a surveillance state. Commander Kane's Memory Enforcement Division had deployed facial recognition drones on every street corner, and citizens were required to submit to random neural scans. The underground had been forced to move deeper into the abandoned subway system, communicating through a network of hidden tunnels that predated the reset. Maya crouched in the shadows of Maintenance Tunnel 7, watching Zane work on his modified tablet. The device was a marvel of jury-rigged technology, capable of hacking into the city's systems without being detected. Lines of code scrolled across the screen as he monitored the search patterns of Kane's forces. They're getting closer, Zane muttered, his green eyes reflecting the glow of his screen. Kane's expanded the search radius to include the outer sectors. She's bringing in enforcement teams from other cities. Maya shifted uncomfortably. 3 days of living underground had taken its toll. Her black hair was matted with dust, and her grey hoodie was torn from crawling through tight spaces. But the physical discomfort was nothing compared to the weight of knowing that dozens of people were risking their lives to protect her. "Any word from the other safe houses?" Maya asked. Elena looked up from the map she was studying with Luna. "Safe House 3 went dark 6 hours ago. We have to assume they've been compromised." "What about the echoes they were protecting?" Maya asked. Elena's face was grim. "We don't know." Maya closed her eyes, trying to access the memories that seemed to flow stronger when she was under stress. Images flashed through her mind. A laboratory filled with glowing screens, a massive cylindrical device covered in cables, and most disturbing of all, people lying motionless in glass chambers. "I'm seeing something," Maya said. "A place with glass chambers. People are trapped inside them." Elena's face went white. "The reconditioning center." "Maya. That's where they take echoes for permanent memory erasure." "How permanent?" Maya asked, though she dreaded the answer. "The process doesn't just erase memories," Elena explained. "It destroys the neural pathways that create them. The person survives, but their consciousness is essentially wiped clean." Luna, who had been listening intently, spoke up. "My older brother was taken there 2 years ago. When he came back, he didn't recognize me. He didn't recognize anyone. He just smiled all the time and followed orders." Maya felt a surge of anger. "We have to save them." "Maya," Elena said gently. "A rescue mission would be suicide. The reconditioning center is in the heart of the government district. It's surrounded by guard towers and patrolled by Stone's best agents. Then we don't go in the front door," Maya said. "Zane, can you hack into the center's building schematics?" Zane's fingers flew across his tablet. "Already on it?" "But Maya, your mom's right. This place is a fortress." "Show me." Maya said the tablet displayed a 3-dimensional model of the reconditioning center. It was a massive complex, with the main building surrounded by 3 layers of security barriers. But as Maya studied the layout, more memories surfaced. She saw herself as a child, holding Elena's hand as they walked through these same corridors. "I've been there before," Maya said. "When I was little, before the Resit." Elena nodded reluctantly. "It used to be our research facility. That's where I created the Echo Protocol." "Then you know the layout," Maya said. "There must be service tunnels, maintenance shafts. Something Kane's people don't know about." Elena was quiet for a long moment. "There is something. Emergency tunnel that connects to the old subway system. But Maya, even if we could get inside, we'd never make it out alive." "What if we didn't have to?" Maya asked. An idea was forming in her mind. Dangerous but possible. "What if we could activate the Echo Protocol from inside the center?" "The main device is in the government district," Elena said. "But there are subsidiary nodes throughout the city. If we could activate one of them, we could transmit the memory restoration signal to a limited area." Zane finished. "Brilliant, insane, but brilliant." Maya stood up, her decision made. I'm going in," Elena corrected. "I'm not losing you again. And you'll need someone who can handle the security systems," Zane added. Luna stepped forward. "The Underground has been planning a major operation for months. This could be it." Maya looked around at the faces of her new family. These people barely knew her, but they were willing to risk everything for a chance at freedom. She thought of all the echoes who had already been captured, all the people living in ignorance of their true history. "All right," she said. "But first, we need to find the other surviving echoes. If we're going to restore memories, we need to make sure there are people left who remember what the world was really like." Elena spread out a map of the city. "According to our intelligence, there are safe houses in sectors 12 and 15. But Kane's forces are closing in on both locations. We split up," Maya decided. "Elena and Luna head to Sector 12. Zane and I will take Sector 15. We extract the echoes and Rendersverse at the old subway junction." "Maya," Elena said, "if anything happens to me, you need to know something. The Echo Protocol isn't just about restoring memories. It's about restoring choice. For 17 years, People have been living the lives Kane decided they should live. The protocol can give them back their free will. I understand, Maya said, though she wasn't sure she truly did. 2 hours later, Maya and Zane emerged from a drainage tunnel 6 blocks from the Sector 15 safe house. The area was supposed to be residential, but Maya could see the telltale signs of a memory enforcement sweep. Windows were boarded up, and the few people on the streets moved with the mechanical precision of those who had been recently reconditioned. This doesn't look good, Zane whispered. Maya closed her eyes and let her enhanced memories guide her. She could sense something, a presence that felt familiar. There's someone alive in there. Someone like me. They made their way through the abandoned buildings, using hand signals Elena had taught them. The safe house was supposed to be in the basement of an old apartment building, but as they approached, Maya could see that the building's front entrance was guarded by 2 enforcement officers. Back entrance, Zane suggested. Maya shook her head. No, something's wrong. Those guards are too obvious. It's a trap, as if to confirm her suspicions. Maya heard the distinctive whine of memory enforcement drones approaching. They had seconds before the area would be flooded with searchers. This way, Maya said, leading Zane down a narrow alley. But as they turned the corner, they found themselves face to face with Agent Stone. Maya's hand moved instinctively to the small knife Elena had given her, but Stone raised his hand in a gesture of peace. Don't, he said quietly. I'm not here to capture you. Right, Zane said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Kane's top enforcer wants to help us. Stone's grey eyes fixed on Maya. The safe house was compromised 3 hours ago. Kane's people took 5 echoes, including a 12-year-old girl. Maya felt sick. Where are they? Being transported to the reconditioning center as we speak, Stone replied. Maya, I need you to understand something. I've been with the Memory Enforcement Division for 8 years. I believed in the mission, believed we were protecting society from dangerous individuals. And now, Maya asked. Stone's composure cracked slightly. Now I'm remembering things. Fragments at first, but they're getting stronger. I remember having a sister. I remember her laugh, her face. But according to my official records, I was an only child. Maya studied the man who had helped her escape. You're an echo? I think so, Stone said. Which means Kane has been using me to hunt down people like myself. People like you. Why should we trust you? Zane asked. Stone reached into his tactical vest and pulled out a small device. Because I'm giving you this. It's a memory enforcement communications unit. You can use it to track their movements, maybe even intercept their plans. Maya took the device, feeling the weight of it in her palm. What do you want in return? Help me remember, Stone said. And when the time comes, help me make this right. Before Maya could respond, the sound of drones grew louder. Stone's expression hardened back into his official mask. You have about 30 seconds before they get here, he said. There's a maintenance tunnel behind the dumpster. It leads to the old subway line. What about you? Maya asked. I'll tell them you went north. It should buy you some time. Maya and Zane quickly located the tunnel entrance. As they prepared to descend, Maya turned back to Stone. What was her name? She asked. Your sister. Stone's eyes softened. Sarah. Her name was Sarah. We'll help you find her, Maya promised. As they disappeared into the tunnels, Maya heard Stone's voice over the communications device. Search Teams Alpha through Delta. Suspects spotted heading north toward the industrial district. Converge on grid reference 7722. Maya and Zane ran through the darkness, guided by the faint glow of Zane's tablet. The tunnel seemed to stretch on forever, but eventually they reached a junction where 4 different passages met. Elena and Luna were already there, along with 3 other people Maya had never seen before. Thank God, Elena said, embracing Maya. We managed to extract 2 echoes from Sector 12, but the 3rd safe house was completely compromised. The new arrivals were a middle-aged man with greying hair, a woman in her 30s with intense brown eyes, and a teenage boy who looked to be about Maya's age. All three had the same haunted expression Maya had seen in her own reflection. "I'm Dr. James Wright," the older man said. "I was a neuroscientist before the reset. My memories have been coming back for months." "Anna Petrov," the woman said. "I remember being a teacher. I remember students' lessons, a world where children were encouraged to ask questions." The teenage boy remained silent, but Maya could see the intelligence in his dark eyes. "This is Marcus," Elena said gently. "He hasn't spoken since his memories started returning. The trauma of remembering what was lost can be overwhelming." Maya knelt down next to Marcus. "It's okay," she said softly. "I understand. Sometimes the memories hurt so much you can't find words for them." Marcus looked up at her, and for the first time, Maya saw hope in his expression. "We need to keep moving," Elena said. "Kane's forces are converging on this area. But first, we need to make a decision. Do we try to save the captured echoes? Or do we head straight for the government district?" Maya looked around at the small group of survivors. These were the last free echoes in the city, possibly the last people who could remember the world as it truly was. But somewhere in the reconditioning center, 5 more echoes were about to lose their memories forever. "We saved them," Maya said. "All of them, even if it means risking everything." Dr. Wright nodded approvingly. "The girl is right. We can't build a better future on the sacrifice of the innocent." "Then we better move fast," Zane said. Monitoring the communications device, Keynes ordered a full lockdown of the government district. "We have maybe 6 hours before it becomes completely impenetrable." As the group prepared to leave the tunnel junction, Maya felt a strange sensation. It was as if her enhanced memories were trying to show her something important. She saw flashes of the reconditioning center, but not as it was now, as it had been before the reset, when it was Elena's laboratory. "Mom," she said, "in your lab, did you have any fail-safes? Any way to shut down the reconditioning process remotely?" Elena's eyes widened. "The emergency protocols. If we could access the main computer terminal, we could not only stop the current procedures but potentially reverse them." "Then that's our primary objective," Maya said. "Save the echoes and give them back their memories." As they began the dangerous journey toward the government district, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into something far more dangerous than a simple rescue mission. Kane was too smart to leave such an obvious vulnerability unguarded. But Maya had to try. Too many people had already sacrificed too much for her to fail now. The revolution was about to become a war. The government district at night was a maze of searchlights and guard towers. Maya pressed herself against the cold concrete wall of an abandoned building, watching the patrol patterns of Kane's forces. 3 blocks away, the reconditioning center loomed like a fortress of glass and steel, its windows glowing with harsh white light. "Guard change happens every 4 hours," Zane whispered, consulting his tablet. "Next one is in 20 minutes. Maya nodded, her mind racing through Elena's descriptions of the building's layout. Somewhere inside those walls, 5 echoes were being prepared for permanent memory erasure. Among them was the 12-year-old girl Stone had mentioned. Maya couldn't let that happen. The group had split up for the infiltration. Eleanor and Dr. Wright were creating a distraction on the north side of the building, while Anna and Marcus positioned themselves to cover the escape routes. Maya, Zane, and Luna would attempt to enter through the old research tunnels. "Remember," Elena had said before they separated, "the main computer terminal is on the 5th floor. But Maya, the real Echo Protocol device is in the sub-basement. If we can activate it, we restore everyone's memories." Maya had finished. I know. Crouched in the shadows, Maya felt the weight of that responsibility. But she also felt something else. The strength of the memories flowing through her consciousness. She wasn't just Maya Chen anymore. She was carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire civilization. "Movement," Luna whispered, pointing to a service door on the east side of the building. Maya watched as two maintenance workers exited the building, their heads down and their movements mechanical. These were people who had been fully reconditioned, their personalities completely replaced by Kane's programming. "There," Maya said. "That's our way in." They waited until the maintenance workers disappeared around a corner, then sprinted across the open space to the service door. Zane's fingers flew over his tablet, hacking into the building's security system. "Got it," he said as the door clicked open. "But Maya, the system shows 5 heat signatures in the reconditioning chambers. They're already beginning the procedures." Maya felt a surge of panic. "How long do we have?" "Maybe an hour before the process becomes irreversible," Zane replied. They slipped into the building, finding themselves in a sterile corridor that smelled of disinfectant and fear. Maya's enhanced memories guided her through the maze of hallways, but every turn brought back flashes of her childhood in this place. She remembered running through these very corridors, Elena's laughter echoing behind her. "This way," she whispered, leading them toward a service elevator. The elevator descended into the building's depths, and Maya felt the familiar sensation of her memories intensifying. The deeper they went, the closer she got to the source of her abilities. The original Echo Protocol device was somewhere below them waiting. They exited on the 5th floor, where the main computer terminal was located. The hallway was empty, but Maya could hear the distant sound of machinery and the occasional voice of a technician. The reconditioning procedures were already underway. "The terminal should be just around this corner," Maya said. But as they approached, she heard footsteps coming toward them. "Hide," Zane whispered, pulling Luna into an alcove. Maya pressed herself against the wall as 2 figures rounded the corner. One was a technician in a white coat, but the other made Maya's blood run cold. It was Commander Kane herself, her platinum hair gleaming under the fluorescent lights. "The neural mapping is proceeding ahead of schedule," the technician was saying. "We should have complete memory erasure within the hour." "Excellent," Kane replied. "And the youngest subject, the 12-year-old. She's proving more resistant than expected. Her neural pathways are remarkably strong for someone her age." Kane's expression darkened. "Increase the power. I want her consciousness completely eliminated." Maya felt a surge of rage. She started to move, but Zane's hand on her arm stopped her. "Not yet," he whispered. "We need to reach the terminal first." They waited until Kane and the technician had passed, then continued down the corridor. The main computer terminal was behind a heavy steel door marked "Authorized Personnel Only." Zane made quick work of the electronic lock, and they slipped inside. The terminal room was filled with massive servers and banks of monitors. One wall showed a real-time map of the city, with thousands of small dots representing the city's population. Red dots indicated people who had been fully reconditioned, while blue dots showed those who were still experiencing memory irregularities. "My God," Luna whispered. "There are so many blue dots." Maya studied the display. "People are remembering, all across the city." "The Echo Protocol is working," Zane said, his voice filled with wonder. "Even without the main device. The subsidiary nodes are starting to trigger memory restoration." "Which means Kane is running out of time," Maya realized. "That's why she's moving so fast with the reconditioning." Maya approached the main terminal, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. The memories flowing through her mind showed her exactly what to do. She began typing, accessing the building systems with codes that Elena had programmed into her consciousness years ago. "I'm in," she said. "Zane, can you monitor the building's security while I work?" "Already on it," Zane replied, his own tablet interfacing with the terminal. "But Maya, we've got company coming. Kane's sending a security team to this floor." Maya's fingers flew over the keyboard. She could see the status of the 5 echoes in the reconditioning chambers. 3 were still in the early stages of the process, but 2, including the 12-year-old girl, were approaching the point of no return. "Got it," Maya said as she accessed the emergency protocols. I'm shutting down the reconditioning chambers now. Alarms began blaring throughout the building as the life support systems for the chambers switched to emergency mode. Maya could see on the monitors that the 5 echoes were being automatically moved to recovery pods. Maya, Zane said urgently, we need to go. Now. But Maya was transfixed by what she was seeing on the main display. The map of the city was changing rapidly. More and more dots were turning blue as people throughout the city began to remember. The subsidiary nodes were activating on their own, triggered by the increasing number of restored memories. It's working, she whispered. The Echo protocol is actually working. Maya, Luna shouted. Maya turned to see the door to the terminal room exploding inward. Agent Stone stood in the doorway, but he wasn't alone. Behind him were 4 memory enforcement soldiers in full tactical gear. Step away from the terminal, Stone said, his voice carrying the weight of authority, but Maya could see something in his grey eyes. A warning. Agent Stone, she said carefully. I thought you were helping us. I am, Stone replied, then suddenly spun around and fired his weapon at the soldiers behind him. But first I had to get them away from Kane. Go now! Maya didn't hesitate. She grabbed the data drive she had been using to download the Echo protocol files and sprinted toward the emergency exit. Zane and Luna were right behind her as Stone held off the remaining soldiers. This way, Maya called, her enhanced memories guiding her through the building's layout. They raced down a service stairway, the sound of gunfire echoing behind them. Where are we going? Luna asked, breathing hard. To get the others, Maya replied. The 5 echoes. They should be in the recovery pods by now. They burst through a door marked Medical Wing and found themselves in a sterile white corridor lined with glass chambers. Maya could see the 5 rescued echoes inside recovery pods, their vital signs stable but their eyes still closed. How do we wake them up? Zane asked. Maya approached the nearest pod, which contained the 12-year-old girl. She was small and fragile-looking, with short blonde hair and pale skin. But even unconscious, Maya could sense the strength of her memories. The pods are designed to keep them sedated during recovery, Maya said, studying the control panel. But if I can override the system. She began working on the pod's controls, using the knowledge that seemed to flow naturally from her enhanced memories. One by one, the pods began to open, and the 5 echoes started to stir. The 12-year-old girl opened her eyes first, looking around in confusion. When she saw Maya, she smiled weakly. Are you here to help us? She asked in a small voice. Yes, Maya said, helping her sit up. What's your name? Emma, the girl replied. Emma Harrison. I remember things. Things that the doctors said were impossible. Your memories are real, Maya assured her. All of them. The other 4 echoes were beginning to wake up as well. There were 2 teenagers, a boy and a girl who looked like siblings, and 2 adults, a man and a woman who seemed to be husband and wife. Where are we? Asked one of the teenagers, a boy with dark hair and worried eyes. The reconditioning center, Maya explained. But don't worry. We're getting you out of here. Are you Maya Chen? Asked the adult woman. We heard about you from the others. You're the one who can access the full Echo protocol, Maya nodded. But right now, we need to focus on getting everyone to safety. The sound of approaching footsteps echoed from the corridor. Maya quickly helped the 5 echoes to their feet, though they were still weak from the reconditioning process. Can you walk? She asked Emma. I think so, Emma replied, taking a tentative step. Maya led the group toward the emergency exit, but as they reached the door, it burst open. Commander Kane stood there, flanked by 6 heavily armed soldiers. Her ice-blue eyes were filled with rage. You have caused enough chaos, Miss Chen, Kane said, her voice deadly calm. Thanks to your interference, memory restoration is spreading throughout the city. Do you have any idea what you've done? I've given people back their freedom, Maya replied, stepping protectively in front of the rescued echoes. You've given them back their misery, Kane snapped. Do you remember what the world was like before the reset? The wars, the poverty, the environmental destruction. We created a perfect society, and you're destroying it. Perfect for who? Maya asked. For you and your controllers. What about everyone else? What about their right to choose their own lives? Kane's expression hardened. Rights are a luxury humanity can't afford. Order is what matters. Stability. Peace. That's not peace, said Emma, her young voice carrying surprising strength. That's just a prison with prettier walls. Kane's gaze shifted to the young girl. You should have been eliminated years ago. Your neural patterns are almost as strong as Maya's. Leave her alone, Maya said, moving closer to Kane. I'm afraid I can't do that, Kane replied. You see, Maya, I've been studying your abilities. Your enhanced memories aren't just random fragments from the past. They're connected to the original Echo Protocol device. Which means if I can extract and study them, I can create a permanent memory suppression field. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. You want to use me to eliminate everyone's memories. Not eliminate, Kane corrected. Perfect. Imagine a world where everyone is content. Where no one questions authority, where there is no conflict because there is no memory of alternatives. That's not a world, Maya said. That's a cemetery. Kane raised her weapon. Perhaps, but it will be a peaceful cemetery. Before Kane could fire, the lights in the medical wing suddenly went out. Emergency lighting kicked in, casting everything in a red glow. In the confusion, Maya heard a familiar voice. Maya, this way. It was Stone, appearing at another entrance to the medical wing. He was bleeding from a wound on his arm, but his eyes were alert and focused. The diversion worked, he called out. Elena and the others have activated the building's emergency systems. We have maybe 10 minutes before Kane's reinforcements arrive. Maya quickly gathered the 5 rescued Echoes and led them towards Stone. Behind them, Kane was shouting orders to her soldiers, but the emergency lighting was making it difficult for them to see clearly. Where's the exit? Maya asked Stone. This way, he replied, leading them through a maze of corridors. But Maya, there's something you need to know. The main Echo Protocol device isn't just in the sub-basement. It's directly below us. We're standing on top of it right now. Maya felt a surge of energy as her enhanced memories reacted to their proximity to the device. Images flashed through her mind, the device itself, a massive cylindrical chamber filled with swirling energy, and the control room where Elena had first programmed the protocol. We have to activate it, Maya said. It's the only way to restore everyone's memories permanently. Maya, no, Stone said. The device is unstable. When Kane's people weaponized it, they damaged the containment systems. If you activate it now, the energy release could destroy half the city. Then we find another way, Maya said. But as they reached the building's main lobby, they found themselves surrounded. Kane's soldiers had anticipated their route and were waiting for them. Kane herself stood at the center of the group, her weapon trained on Maya. End of the line, Kane said. Surrender now, and I'll make sure the others are reconditioned quickly. Continue to resist, and they'll suffer. Maya looked around at the people depending on her. The 5 rescued Echoes, still weak from their ordeal. Stone, bleeding and outnumbered. Zane and Luna, who had risked everything to help her. And somewhere in the building, Elena and the others were counting on her success. You're right, Maya said, raising her hands. This is the end of the line. Kane smiled coldly. I'm glad you're finally seeing reason. I am, Maya replied. I'm seeing that sometimes the end of one line is just the beginning of another. Maya closed her eyes and reached out with her enhanced memories, not just to the Echo Protocol device below them, but to all the subsidiary nodes throughout the city. She could feel the memories of thousands of people beginning to surface, like flowers blooming after a long winter. Maya, what are you doing? Kane demanded. I'm remembering, Maya said. And I'm helping everyone else remember too. The building began to shake as the Echo Protocol device responded to Maya's mental connection. But instead of the catastrophic explosion Stone had warned about, the energy was being channeled through the subsidiary nodes, creating a network of memory restoration that spread throughout the city. Through the building's windows, Maya could see lights flickering on in buildings across the city. People were waking up, literally and figuratively, as 17 years of suppressed memories came floating back. "Stop this," Kane shouted. But her soldiers were beginning to look confused as their own memories started to return. "I can't," Maya said, opening her eyes. "And I wouldn't if I could. This is what freedom looks like, Commander. Messy, chaotic, but real." The building shook again, more violently this time. Cracks appeared in the walls, and Maya realized that even though she had prevented an explosion, the device was still overloading. "Everyone out!" Stone shouted. "The building's going to collapse!" Maya grabbed Emma's hand and ran for the exit, the other echoes closed behind. Kane's soldiers were too disoriented by their returning memories to stop them. As they burst out of the building into the night air, Maya could see the city transforming around them. People were pouring out of their homes and apartments, talking excitedly as they remembered their true lives. Children were calling for parents they thought they had lost. Families were reuniting after 17 years of artificial separation. "My God," whispered Dr. Wright, who had appeared with Alina and the others. "It's working. The entire city is remembering." Maya watched the building behind them beginning to collapse, taking with it the symbol of Kane's oppression. But she also knew that this was just the beginning. There were other cities, other reconditioning centers, other people who needed to be freed. "What happens now?" asked Emma, still holding Maya's hand. Maya looked around at the faces of her friends and allies, then up at the sky where the first hints of dawn were beginning to show. "Now," she said, "we help everyone else remember too." As the sun rose over the city, Maya Chen felt the weight of her destiny settling on her shoulders. She was no longer just a girl who remembered. She was the catalyst for a revolution that would spread across the world, giving humanity back its memories, its choices, and its freedom. The Echo Protocol was complete. The real work was just beginning. 2 weeks after the Great Remembering, the city had become a battleground. Maya stood on the roof of the old subway station that served as the resistance headquarters, watching smoke rise from the government district. Kane's forces had retreated to heavily fortified positions, but they weren't giving up without a fight. "The northern districts are secure," reported Anna Petrov, climbing up from the communications center below. "But Kane's reinforcements from the coastal cities are expected to arrive within 48 hours. Maya nodded, her dark eyes reflecting the fires burning in the distance. She had grown in the past 2 weeks, not just in confidence but in her understanding of the terrible responsibility she carried. Across the city, people were struggling to integrate 17 years of restored memories with their current lives. Some were handling it well, but others were breaking down under the weight of what they had lost. "How are the refugee camps?" Maya asked. "Overcrowded but stable," Anna replied. "Dr. Wright has organized medical teams to help people process their memories. But Maya, we're running out of supplies, and with Kane's forces controlling the supply routes." "We'll figure it out," Maya said, though she wasn't sure how. She had started a revolution, but she was quickly learning that winning one was far more complicated than simply activating a device. "Maya," called a voice from below. It was Zane, his auburn hair even more disheveled than usual. "You need to see this." Maya climbed down from the roof to find the main meeting area filled with people. Some were familiar faces from the underground, but many were new. Citizens who had remembered their true lives and chosen to join the resistance. At the center of the group stood a woman Maya didn't recognize. She was tall and athletic, with short silver hair and intelligent brown eyes. But what caught Maya's attention was the way she carried herself with quiet authority and the respect the other resistance members were showing her. "Maya," Elena said, approaching with a smile. I'd like you to meet Dr. Maya Chen. She's been working with resistance cells in the southern districts. Maya felt a jolt of recognition. Not from her enhanced memories, but from something more recent. Chen, are you related to? Agent Stone's real name is David Chen, the woman said. He's my brother, and I've been looking for him for 17 years. Maya's mind raced. Stone had mentioned remembering a sister, but she hadn't connected the names. He's alive. He's been helping us. Sarah's face showed a mixture of relief and concern. Where is he now? Underground, Elena explained. He's been coordinating with resistance cells in other cities, trying to establish a communication network. We need to talk, Sarah said, her voice urgent. All of us. There are things about the Echo Protocol that you need to know. Things that my brother discovered while he was working for Kane. Maya led the group to the main conference room, where they gathered around a table covered with maps and intelligence reports. Sarah spread out a series of documents that Maya had never seen before.
These are Kane's real plans,
Sarah said. The memory suppression was just the beginning. She's been working on something called the Unity Protocol. Unity Protocol? Maya asked. Mass consciousness control, Sarah explained. Not just suppressing memories, but actively controlling thoughts and emotions. The reconditioning centers weren't just for echoes. They were testing grounds for a process that would allow Kane to directly manipulate the minds of entire populations. Elena studied the documents, her face growing pale. These neural mapping procedures, they're based on my original research, but they've been perverted, weaponized. There's more, Sarah continued. Kane has been in contact with similar regimes in other parts of the world. The global reset wasn't limited to our region. It was coordinated across multiple continents. Maya felt the weight of this revelation. You're saying there are other cities, other countries where people's memories have been suppressed. At least 12 major population centers, Sarah confirmed. And Kane is planning to use the Unity Protocol to create a network of controlled populations, a world where independent thought is impossible. We can't let that happen, Maya said. But even as she spoke, she wondered how their small resistance could possibly stand against such a vast conspiracy. We don't have to do it alone, said a new voice from the doorway. Maya turned to see Stone entering, but he looked different. Gone was the cold, professional demeanor of the memory enforcement agent. His grey eyes were warm, and he was smiling. David, Sarah said, standing up and embracing her brother. I was beginning to think I'd never see you again. I remember you now, Stone said, his voice thick with emotion. I remember everything. Our parents, our childhood, the day you left for university. I remember how proud I was of my big sister. Maya watched the reunion with a mixture of joy and sadness. These siblings had found each other, but how many other families had been permanently torn apart by Kane's actions? David, Sarah said, pulling back to look at her brother, what did you learn from the other cities? Stone's expression became serious. It's not good. Kane's forces control most of the major population centers, but there are resistance movements in at least 6 cities. And Sarah, some of them have echoes too. How many? Maya asked. We don't know exactly, Stone replied. But the resistance leaders I spoke with estimate there could be hundreds of people with enhanced memories scattered around the world. Maya felt a surge of hope. Then we're not alone. No, Stone said, but we're still vastly outnumbered. Kane's forces are better equipped, better trained, and they have the advantage of controlling the infrastructure. What about the Echo Protocol? Maya asked. Can we use it to restore memories in other cities? Elena shook her head. The device here was specifically calibrated for this population. To work in other cities, we'd need to build new devices or significantly modify existing ones. Then that's what we do, Maya said. We build more devices. Maya, Elena said gently. The technical knowledge required to build an Echo Protocol device is enormous. It would take years, even if we had the resources. Which we don't, Zane added, looking up from his tablet. Kane's forces have cut off our supply lines. We're running low on food, medical supplies, and ammunition. Maya felt the familiar weight of impossible choices around her. The resistance leaders were looking to her for answers she didn't have. She closed her eyes and reached out with her enhanced memories, hoping to find some guidance in the vast archive of restored knowledge. What she found instead was a presence she hadn't expected. "There's someone else," she said, opening her eyes. "Someone with memories as strong as mine. They're not in the city, but they're close, and they're trying to contact us." "How can you tell?" Elena asked. "I can feel them," Maya said. "Like an echo of an echo. They're using some kind of modified echo protocol device to amplify their signal." Stone leaned forward. "Where?" Maya concentrated, following the mental connection she had established. Images flashed through her mind, a hidden facility in the mountains. People working frantically on technical equipment and a face she recognized from her enhanced memories. "Dr. Marcus Reed," she said, opening her eyes. "He's alive?" Elena gasped. "Marcus? But he was killed in the initial assault on the research facility." "No," Maya said, the memories becoming clearer. "I escaped. He's been building a resistance network in the mountains, and he's developed something called the Cascade Protocol." "What's that?" Sarah asked. Maya's enhanced memories provided the answer. "It's a way to link multiple Echo Protocol devices together. If we can reach Dr. Reed, we might be able to create a network that can restore memories across multiple cities simultaneously." "That's ambitious," Stone said. "But Maya, getting to the mountain facility means crossing through Kane's territory. It's a suicide mission." "Not if we're smart about it," Maya said. "Kane's forces are concentrated in the cities. The wilderness areas are less heavily guarded." "What about the people here?" Luna asked. She had been quiet during the meeting, but Maya could see the concern in her bright eyes. "If we leave, who's going to protect them?" Maya looked around at the faces of her friends and allies. These people had risked everything to help her, and now she was asking them to risk even more. "We split up," she decided. "Some of us go to the mountain facility, others stay here to defend the city. But we need to move fast. Kane's reinforcements will be here soon, and once they arrive, any chance of reaching Dr. Reed will be gone." "I'll go with you," Elena said immediately. "And me," added Stone. "Count me in too," said Zane. "Wait," Maya said. "I can't ask all of you to risk your lives for this." "You're not asking," Sarah volunteering. "Maya, what you've done here, what you've given back to these people, it's just the beginning. The Echo Protocol isn't just about restoring memories. It's about restoring hope." Maya felt tears forming in her eyes.
"Thank you, all of you. So what's the plan?"
Anna asked. Maya spread out a map of the region. "We leave at dawn. Small group traveling light. We follow the old highway through the forest, avoiding the main roads. If we move fast, we can reach the mountain facility in 3 days. And if we run into Kane's forces?" Stone asked. "We fight," Maya said simply. "But hopefully, we won't have to." As the meeting broke up and people began preparing for the mission, Maya found herself alone with Elena. Her mother was staring at the map, her expression troubled. Having second thoughts, Maya asked. Elena replied, "Maya, I need you to understand something. When I created the Echo Protocol, I never imagined it would lead to this. I thought I was preserving knowledge, not starting a war." "You did preserve knowledge," Maya said. "You preserved the most important knowledge of all, the knowledge that people have the right to choose their own lives." Elena smiled sadly. "You sound so much older than 16. "I feel older," Maya admitted. "Sometimes I feel like I'm carrying the weight of everyone who came before us." "You don't have to carry it alone," Elena said. "That's what the resistance is for. What family is for." That night, Maya stood on the roof of the subway station, looking out over the city. In the distance, she could see the lights of Kane's forces, but closer in, she could see the warm glow of windows where families were reuniting, where people were rebuilding their lives. She thought about Emma, the 12-year-old Echo who had shown such courage in the reconditioning center. Emma was safe now, helping to care for other children in the refugee camps. But Maya knew that safety was temporary. Kane wouldn't give up, and the Unity Protocol was still a threat. "Ready for tomorrow?" Stone asked, joining her on the roof. "As ready as I can be," Maya replied. "Are you sure about this? You could stay here, help defend the city." "My place is with the mission," Stone said. "Besides, someone needs to watch your back," Maya smiled. "Thanks, David. Just promise me something," Stone said. "If things go wrong, if we don't make it back, promise me you'll keep fighting. The world needs people like you, Maya. People who remember what freedom looks like." "I promise," Maya said. "But we're all coming back. We have to." As dawn approached, Maya made her final preparations. She packed light basic supplies, the data drives containing the Echo Protocol files, and the small knife Elena had given her. But most importantly, she carried the weight of everyone's hopes and the strength of their restored memories. The journey to the mountain facility would be dangerous, but Maya knew it was necessary. Dr. Reed's Cascade Protocol might be the key to liberating not just their city, but the entire world. As the sun rose over the cityscape, Maya Chen prepared to leave the place that had become her home. She didn't know what waited for her in the mountains, but she knew that the revolution she had started was far from over. The Echo Protocol had given people back their memories. Now it was time to give them back their world. The mountain facility looked like it had been carved directly from the rocky cliffsides. Maya pressed herself against a boulder, studying the structure through Elena's binoculars. After 3 days of traveling through the wilderness, avoiding Kane's patrol routes, they had finally reached Dr. Reed's hidden research station. "I count at least 20 people," Maya said, passing the binoculars to Stone. "But I can't tell if they're friendlies or hostiles." "The energy signature is definitely Echo Protocol-based," Zane said, monitoring his tablet. "But it's unlike anything I've seen before. The power levels are off the charts." Elena took the binoculars, her face showing a mixture of excitement and concern. "That's Marcus' work all right. He always believed in pushing the boundaries of what was possible." The journey to the mountains had been harrowing. They had narrowly avoided 2 patrol units and had been forced to take shelter in an abandoned mining complex when Kane's reconnaissance drones had passed overhead. But they had made it, and now Maya could feel the presence of other enhanced minds nearby. She said, pointing to a figure emerging from the facility.
"That's Dr. Reed."
Even from a distance, Maya could see that the years had been hard on him. His hair was completely white now, and he moved with the careful gait of someone who had been injured. But his eyes, when he looked in their direction, were sharp and alert. "Dr. Marcus Reed," Elena called out, standing up from behind the boulder. "It's Elena Rodriguez." Reed's face broke into a smile. "Elena, I was beginning to think I'd never see you again." He gestured for them to approach. "Come on, all of you. We have a lot to discuss." The interior of the facility was a marvel of improvised engineering. Computer servers hummed alongside jury-rigged power systems, and the walls were lined with monitors showing data streams from around the world. But at the center of it all was a massive cylindrical device that pulsed with blue energy. "The Cascade Protocol," Reed explained, noticing Maya's amazement. "It's taken me 15 years to build, but it's finally ready." "What exactly does it do?" Stone asked. Reed led them to a control room overlooking the main chamber. "It links Echo Protocol devices across vast distances, creating a network of memory restoration. But more than that, it can amplify the process. Where your device in the city could restore memories to thousands of people, the Cascade can reach millions." Maya felt a surge of hope. "Can it reach the other cities, the other populations Kane has controlled?" "That's the idea," Reed said. "But there's a catch. The Cascade requires someone with extremely powerful enhanced memories to operate it. Someone who can handle the mental strain of connecting to multiple populations simultaneously." Maya felt all eyes turn to her. "You're talking about me?" "I'm afraid so," Reed said. "Maya, your neural pathways are unlike anything I've ever seen. You're not just an echo. You're a living embodiment of the original protocol. But the process is dangerous. The mental strain could be overwhelming." "What kind of strain?" Elena asked, her voice filled with concern. Reed's expression was grave. "The human mind isn't designed to hold the memories of millions of people. Maya would be temporarily connected to every restored consciousness in the network. The experience could be..."
Intense. Define intense.
Stone said. "Complete sensory overload," Reed explained. "Temporary loss of individual identity, and there's a risk of permanent neurological damage." Maya walked to the observation window, looking down at the Cascade device. She could feel its power even from here, a thrumming energy that resonated with her enhanced memories. She thought about all the people still trapped in Kane's controlled cities, living lives they hadn't chosen, with memories that weren't their own. "How many people are we talking about?" she asked. Reed consulted his monitors. "Based on our intelligence from the resistance networks, approximately 12 million people across 6 major population centers." 12 million, Maya repeated. "That's a lot of lives." "It's the largest population of controlled minds in human history," Reed said. "Kane's Unity protocol is scheduled to begin implementation in 72 hours. If we don't act before then, those 12 million people will become permanent slaves." Maya closed her eyes, trying to imagine the weight of 12 million restored memories. It was beyond her comprehension, but she knew she had to try. "I'll do it," she said. "Maya, no," Elena said immediately. "The risk is too great." "The risk of doing nothing is greater," Maya replied. "Mom, we didn't start this revolution just to save one city. We start it to save everyone." "But there has to be another way," Elena insisted. Reed shook his head. "I've been working on this for 15 years. Maya is the only person I've ever encountered with the neural capacity to handle the cascade. Without her, the device is useless." "What about the other echoes?" Stone asked. "Could they help share the load?" "Possibly," Reed said, "if we could get them here in time. But Kane's forces are already mobilizing. We have perhaps 24 hours before they discover this facility." Maya studied the faces of her friends and allies. She could see the fear in their eyes, but also the determination. They had come too far to turn back now. "Is there a way to minimize the risk?" she asked. Reed nodded. "We could attempt a partial activation. Instead of connecting to all 6 cities simultaneously, we could start with 1 or 2. But that would give Kane time to develop countermeasures. Or we could try to get the other echoes here," Elena said. "I could return to the city, organize a team." "There's no time," Maya said. "Kane's reinforcements will be at the city within hours. And you said yourself that the Unity protocol begins in 3 days." Maya walked back to the Cascade device, placing her hand on the control panel. The energy pulsed through her fingers, and she felt her enhanced memories responding to the proximity of so much power. "I can do this," she said. "I can feel the network, the connections waiting to be made. It's like the memories want to be free." "Maya," Elena said, tears in her eyes. "I can't lose you, not after just finding you again." Maya embraced her mother. "You won't lose me. I'm not going anywhere." But even as she said the words, Maya wondered if they were true. She had no idea what would happen when she connected to the cascade. Would she still be herself afterward? Would she still be Maya Chen, or would she become something else entirely? "If we're going to do this," Reed said, "we need to do it now. Kane's forces are moving into position around the mountain. We have maybe 6 hours before they find us." Maya nodded, stepping toward the control interface. But as she did, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. "What's happening?" Stone asked. Zane was monitoring his tablet, his face pale. "Aerial assault incoming. Kane's forces found us." Through the facility's windows, Maya could see aircraft approaching from multiple directions. Kane had brought everything attack helicopters, troop transports, and what looked like a mobile command center. "How did they find us so fast?" Elena asked. "Doesn't matter," Reed said. "We need to activate the cascade now before they can stop us." Maya placed her hands on the control interface, feeling the energy surge through her body. The cascade device began to glow more brightly, and she could sense the network of Echo Protocol devices in distant cities beginning to respond. "Maya," Reed said urgently, "you need to focus on the connection. Ignore everything else." But it was hard to ignore the sound of explosions as Kane's forces began their assault on the facility. Maya could hear gunfire and shouting as Reed's people tried to defend their position. "They're breaching the outer perimeter," Stone reported, checking his weapon. "I'm going to help with the defense." "David, no," Elena said. "Stay here. Maya needs protection." "She needs time more than protection," Stone replied. "I'll buy her as much as I can." Maya closed her eyes and reached out with her enhanced memories, searching for the distant Echo Protocol devices. She found them one by a hidden facility in the ruins of what had once been New York, a resistance hideout in the former Los Angeles, underground installations in Chicago, Atlanta, and Denver. "I can see them," she said, her voice distant. "The other cities. There are people there, people who remember." "Can you make the connection?" Reed asked. Maya pushed harder, extending her consciousness across the vast network. She felt the moment when the first connection was established, a sudden rush of memories that weren't her own. A woman in New York remembering her daughter's laugh. A man in Los Angeles recalling his wedding day. A child in Chicago dreaming of flying.
It's working,
she said, but her voice was strained. "I can feel them waking up." The facility shook as an explosion rocked the main entrance. Kane's forces were getting closer. "Maya, we need to hurry," Elena said. Maya nodded, pushing her consciousness further into the network. More connections formed, more memories flowed. But with each new link, the strain on her mind increased. She could feel her individual identity beginning to blur, overwhelmed by the sheer volume of restored memories. "I'm losing myself," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "Stay focused," Reed said. "Remember who you are. Remember why you're doing this." Maya thought about Elena, about the underground, about Emma, and all the other people who had been given back their freedom. She thought about the billions of people still trapped in Kane's controlled world, living lives they hadn't chosen. "I remember," she said, and pushed the final connection into place. The cascade device exploded with light, and Maya felt her consciousness expand across the entire network. She was simultaneously in 6 cities, experiencing the memories of millions of people as they awakened to their true lives. The weight of it was overwhelming, but somehow, she held on. Through the network, she could see the effect of the restoration. In New York, people were pouring out of their apartments, calling out names they hadn't spoken in years. In Los Angeles, families were reuniting in the streets. In Chicago, resistance fighters were taking control of government buildings, as the memory enforcement officers found themselves remembering their own suppressed identities. "It's working," Reed said, his voice filled with wonder. "The entire network is active. 12 million people are remembering." But Maya barely heard him. She was drowning in memories, struggling to maintain her sense of self in the flood of restored consciousness. She saw glimpses of the world as it had been, beautiful, complex, flawed, but free. She saw the faces of people she had never met, but whose memories she now carried. She saw the hope in their eyes as they remembered who they truly were. "Maya." Elena's voice cut through the chaos in her mind. "Maya. You need to come back." Maya opened her eyes, though she wasn't sure they were her eyes anymore. The facility was filled with smoke and debris. Kane's forces had breached the main chamber, and she could see soldiers in tactical gear surrounding the cascade device. "Step away from the controls," a familiar voice commanded. Maya looked up to see Commander Kane herself. Her platinum hair disheveled, but her ice blue eyes as cold as ever. "It's too late," Maya said, her voice carrying the weight of millions of restored memories. They're all awake now. All of them. Kane's face twisted with rage. You've destroyed everything. Do you have any idea what you've done? I've given them back their freedom, Maya replied. I've given them back their choice. Choice? Kane laughed bitterly. You've given them back their pain, their suffering, their confusion. They were happy before. They were slaves, Maya said. Comfortable slaves, but slaves nonetheless. Kane raised her weapon, pointing it directly at Maya. Then I'll just have to start over. With you gone, I can rebuild the system. Make it stronger. No, Elena said, stepping between Kane and Maya. You won't. Elena Rodriguez, Kane said. The architect of my downfall. How fitting that you should be here to witness the end of your daughter's revolution. My daughter's revolution. Elena smiled grimly. Commander? This revolution began the moment you decided that 12 billion people didn't deserve to make their own choices. Maya didn't start this. You did. Kane's finger tightened on the trigger. Enough philosophy. Step aside, or I'll shoot through you to get to her. Go ahead, Elena said calmly. But first, you should know something. Maya isn't the only one connected to the cascade. Kane's eyes narrowed. What are you talking about? I helped design the original Echo protocol, Elena said. Did you really think I wouldn't have built in safeguards? Every person who's been restored carries a piece of the network. Kill Maya, and you'll have to kill all 12 million of them. That can be arranged, Kane said coldly. Can it? Elena asked. Because according to my calculations, you have about 30 seconds before your own memory enforcement officers remember who they really are. Kane's face paled. That's impossible. They're protected by neural firewalls. Firewalls I helped design, Elena said, and firewalls I know how to bypass. As if on cue. Several of Kane's soldiers began removing their helmets, confusion and recognition dawning on their faces. One of them, a young woman with short, cropped hair, looked directly at Commander. She said slowly, I remember you. You're not Sarah Kane. You're Lisa Morrison. You worked in the records department before the consolidation. Kane's weapon trembled in her hand. Shut up, Officer Chen. That's an order. I'm not Officer Chen, the woman said. I'm Dr. Sarah Chen. I was a pediatric surgeon before you took my memories. Before you made me forget my own children. One by one, the other soldiers began to remember. Kane found herself surrounded by people she had controlled, people whose lives she had stolen. Their faces showed not just recognition but rage. You made me forget my husband, one of them said. You made me forget my sister, said another. You made me forget my own name, said a third. Kane backed away. Her weapon now pointed at the growing crowd of restored memories. This isn't over, she said. I still have forces in the outer regions. I still have the Unity Protocol. No, Maya said, rising from the control panel. You don't. The Cascade device pulsed with renewed energy, and Maya's consciousness expanded once again. This time, she reached beyond the 6 cities, beyond the planned network. She touched every Echo Protocol device in Kane's arsenal, every memory suppression unit, every neural firewall. I can see them all, Maya said, her voice echoing with power. Every person you've controlled, every memory you've stolen, every life you've rewritten. Kane's face was a mask of desperation. You can't restore them all. The strain will kill you. Maybe, Maya said, but they'll be free. She reached out with her enhanced consciousness, touching minds across the globe. In Kane's fortress cities, in remote outposts, in the hidden bunkers where the most dangerous dissidents had been held, people began to remember. The weight of it was enormous. Maya felt her sense self-fracturing under the load of billions of restored memories. She was everyone and no one, a conduit for the collective consciousness of humanity's stolen past. Maya. Elena's voice seemed to come from very far away. Maya, you're going too far. But Maya couldn't stop. She could feel the network stabilizing, the connections growing stronger. Every person who remembered made it easier for others to remember. The cascade was becoming self-sustaining. "I can't control it," she said, her voice barely her own. The memories, they're all flowing back at once. Kane made one last desperate attempt, lunging toward the cascade controls. But Stone appeared from nowhere, tackling her to the ground. The two of them struggled for her weapon as chaos erupted around them. "Red," Elena shouted. "Can you shut it down?" Reed was frantically working at his control panel. "I'm trying, but the system is locked into full activation. Maya's neural pattern is the only thing keeping it stable." "Then we have to break the connection," Elena said. "If we do that now, the feedback could kill her," Reed warned. "And without her guiding the restoration, the returning memories could fragment. We could lose millions of minds in the chaos." Elena looked at her daughter, who was now glowing with the blue energy of the cascade device. Maya's eyes were closed, but she was speaking in dozens of different voices, the words of millions of people flowing through her. "There has to be another way," Elena said. "There is," said a new voice. Elena turned to see Zane approaching, his tablet connected to the cascade's network. "I've been monitoring the data flow. The system is trying to stabilize itself by distributing the load across multiple nodes." "What does that mean?" Stone asked, still restraining Kane. "It means Maya doesn't have to carry all the memories alone," Zane explained. "If we can find other strong echo minds and connect them to the network, we can share the burden." "The other echoes from the city," Elena said. "Are they close enough to connect?" "Some of them," Zane said. "But we need them here, physically present, to establish the connection safely." "Then we call them," Elena said. "All of them." Reed looked up from his controls. "Elena, we don't have time. The system is approaching critical overload. Maya can't hold this pattern much longer." Elena looked at her daughter, then at the monitors showing the global restoration in progress. Billions of people were waking up, remembering their true lives, reclaiming their freedom. But the cost was Maya's sanity, possibly her life. "Maya," Elena said softly, approaching the control panel. "Maya, can you hear me?" "I hear all of them," Maya replied, her voice a chorus of millions. "They're all talking at once. They're all remembering." "You need to focus," Elena said. "Find your own voice in all of that. Remember who you are." "I'm everyone," Maya said. "I'm the woman in New York who just remembered her daughter. I'm the man in Los Angeles who just remembered his wedding. I'm the child in Chicago who just remembered how to fly in dreams." "You're also Maya Chen," Elena said firmly. "You're my daughter. You're the girl who wanted to change the world." For a moment, Maya's eyes opened, and Elena saw recognition there. "Mom, I'm here," Elena said. "I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere." Maya's hand reached out, and Elena grasped it. The moment they touched, Elena felt the full weight of the network flowing through her. She gasped at the sheer volume of restored memories, the collective consciousness of humanity's reclaimed past. "I can help," Elena said. "I can share the load." "No," Maya said. "It's too much. It will kill you." "That's killing you right now," Elena replied. "Let me help." One by one, the others joined them. Stone, his hands still keeping Kane restrained, reached out to touch the control panel. Zane connected his tablet directly to the network, allowing his enhanced memories to join the flow. Even Reed, his elderly frame shaking with the effort, added his consciousness to the collective. The burden distributed among them, Maya felt some of her individual identity return. She was still connected to the global network, still guiding the restoration, but she was no longer alone. "It's working," Reed said, his voice strained but hopeful. "The system is stabilizing." Through the network, Maya could feel the effect of their combined effort. The restoration was becoming more controlled, more precise. Instead of a chaotic flood of memories, it was now a carefully guided river, returning people's lives to them in manageable waves. "Commander Kane," said Dr. Sarah Chen, the restored soldier. "You're under arrest for crimes against humanity." Kane, still struggling against Stone's grip, looked up at the faces surrounding her. Every one of them was someone she had controlled, someone whose life she had stolen. Their expressions showed not just anger, but pity. "You don't understand," Kane said. "Without the Unity Protocol, there will be chaos, war, suffering. People can't handle the truth of what they've lost." "That's not your choice to make," Maya said. Her voice now clearly her own, but carrying the weight of the network's collective wisdom. "Freedom includes the right to suffer, to grieve, to make mistakes. You took that away from them." Kane's resistance finally crumbled. "I was trying to save them, to save everyone. By making them forget who they were." Elena asked. "By stealing their most precious memories, their loves, their losses, their dreams." "Those things cause pain," Kane said. "I eliminated the pain." "You eliminated the humanity," Maya replied. "Pain is part of being human. So is joy and love and hope. You can't have one without the others." The facility shook as the last of Kane's forces retreated. Through the windows, Maya could see aircraft departing, their crews now restored to their true identities. The assault was over. "What happens now?" Stone asked. Maya looked at the monitors showing the global restoration. Billions of people were waking up to their true lives, some joyful, some confused, some angry. It would take time for humanity to adjust to the return of its stolen memories. "Now we help them," Maya said. "We help them remember how to be human again." "And Kane?" Elena asked. Maya looked at the woman who had controlled so many lives. "She gets to choose. For the first time in years, she gets to choose who she wants to be." Kane's face was streaked with tears. "I don't remember how to choose. I've been the commander for so long, I don't know who I am underneath." "Then you'll have to figure it out," Maya said. "Just like everyone else." A raid approached the control panel, his face showing exhaustion but also wonder. "Maya, what you've done today, it's changed everything. The entire world is waking up." "It's just the beginning," Maya said. "The hard part starts now. People will need help integrating their restored memories. They'll need support, guidance, time to heal. The underground can help with that," Elena said. "We've been preparing for this day for years." "The underground is just one group," Maya said. "This will take everyone. Every person who remembers. Every community that's been restored. We'll have to build a new world together." Through the network, Maya could feel the collective consciousness of humanity stirring. It was chaotic, overwhelming, but also beautiful. Billions of individual voices, each unique, each precious, each free. "I can't maintain this connection much longer," she said. "The network needs to become self-sustaining." "Will you be all right?" Elena asked, concern evident in her voice. Maya smiled, though the effort was visible. "I'll be different, changed. But I'll be myself. The memories I've touched, the lives I've helped restore. They're part of me now. I carry a piece of everyone who's been freed." "And they carry a piece of you," Red said. "The network isn't just about restored memories. It's about connection. About the bonds between people that can't be broken, no matter how hard someone tries." Maya nodded, then began the careful process of disconnecting from the cascade. One by one, she released the connections, allowing the network to stabilize on its own. The restored minds across the globe would now maintain their memories independently, supported by the collective strength of human consciousness. As the blue glow of the cascade device faded, Maya collapsed. Elena caught her, holding her daughter close as the others gathered around. "Is it over?" Stone asked. Maya opened her eyes, and for the first time in hours they were completely her own. "It's over," she said. "And it's just beginning." Outside the facility, the sun was setting over the mountains. In 6 cities, in hidden bunkers, in Kane's former strongholds, people were stepping out into the light of their remembered lives. Some wept for what they had lost. Others laughed for what they had found. All of them were free. The revolution was complete. The real work was about to begin.